Accept VH1's Hip Hop Honors Award. Lil Kim, the Queen Bee. It's long overdue, baby.
Thank you.
And the award goes to Lil Kim. We did it, Brooklyn!
This is the story of a woman who conquered an empire and watched it crumble in her hands. Before the surgeries, before the prison sentence, before the world turned her into a cautionary tale. She was Kimberly Jones, a girl from Brooklyn who had nothing, who became everything, and lost it all trying to hold on to a ghost. In 2005, one decision sent her to prison, but it was what happened after she got out that truly broke her. Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, 1980s. This is where survival wasn't a choice. It was the only option. Kimberly Denise Jones grew up in a home where love came with conditions, where violence was the language spoken most fluently. When she was 14, her mother kicked her out. No warning, no second chances. She bounced between friends' couches. Sometimes she slept on trains. Sometimes she didn't sleep at all. She learned early, the world doesn't save girls like her. So she saved herself. But survival has a cost. And Kim was about to learn just how high that price could be. At 18, everything changed. She met a man who saw something in her that no one else had. His name was Christopher Wallace. The world would call him the Notorious B.I.G., and he would give her everything, except the one thing she truly wanted. Biggie didn't just discover Lil Kim. He created her. He heard something raw in her voice, something dangerous, something real. He molded her, taught her how to ride beats, how to own her sexuality without apology, how to be fearless in a world that demanded women stay small. Junior Mafia was their family, their movement. But behind the music, there was something else, something toxic, something that would haunt her for decades. Biggie loved her. She said that 1,000 times. But he married someone else, Faith Evans. And Kim stayed recording his songs, stayed in his orbit, stayed hoping. In 1996, she released Hardcore. It was revolutionary, explicit, unapologetic, but it was also a confession. Every line about power, that was her trying to convince herself she had it. Every lyric about control, that was her losing it. And then, on March 9th, 1997, Biggie was murdered. Kim didn't just lose her mentor. She lost the only person who ever made her feel seen. From that moment on, every decision she made was to keep him alive, even if it meant destroying herself in the process. 1999, the MTV Video Music Awards. Lil Kim steps onto the red carpet in a purple jumpsuit that leaves nothing and everything to the imagination. The world stops. Diana Ross, mid-interview, reaches out and jiggles Kim's exposed breast on live television. This wasn't a wardrobe malfunction. This was a declaration of war. Kim wasn't playing by the rules. She was rewriting them. She became a fashion icon, a Grammy winner, a blueprint. Every female rapper who came after her studied the tape. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. They all owe her a debt. Lady Marmalade, a #1 hit, a Grammy, global domination. At the turn of the millennium, Lil Kim was untouchable. But empires built on trauma always crumble from within. In hip-hop, there's an unwritten rule. There can only be one queen. Kim and Foxy Brown were once friends, allies in a male-dominated industry. But the industry doesn't profit from solidarity. It profits from war. The beef escalated. Songs became weapons. Interviews became battlegrounds. And then, February 25th, 2001, a shooting outside Hot 97. Kim's crew, Foxy's crew, gunfire in broad daylight. One man was shot in the back, another in the shoulder. The streets of New York became a war zone. Kim was called to testify. She was asked, "Did you see your friends at the scene?" She said no. She lied. Not because she pulled the trigger, but because in her world, loyalty meant everything, even if it cost you everything. In 2005, she was convicted of perjury. 1 year and 1 day in federal prison. The Queen Bee was caged. July 2005. Lil Kim walks into Federal Detention Center in Philadelphia. She's 30 years old, at the height of her fame, and utterly alone. She told herself it was temporary, that she'd come back stronger. But while she was locked away, the world kept spinning. The music industry was changing. Social media was rising. A new generation was taking over. And Kim, she was frozen in time. When she was released in March 2006, she came out to a world that had moved on. But she hadn't. She was still fighting a war that was already over. The surgery started subtly. A little work here, a little adjustment there. But then, it became something else. Some say she was chasing her younger self, the girl Biggie fell in love with. Others say she was running from the pain that Face had endured. Either way, she became unrecognizable. The internet didn't just notice. It dissected her. Every appearance became a debate. Every photo became evidence. What happened to Lil Kim became a question no one could stop asking, including her. She kept releasing music, but the hits stopped coming. She kept performing, but the arenas turned into clubs. The clubs turned into lounges. She kept trying to reclaim her throne, but the throne was gone. In 2025, she still does interviews, still posts on Instagram, still reminds the world who she was. I'm the blueprint, she says. And she's right. But blueprints are studied, not celebrated. They're foundational, not current. And she knows it. She watches from the sidelines as the women she inspired, Nicki, Cardi, Meg, receive the flower she planted. She sees her influence everywhere, except in her own career. The truth is, Lil Kim never left 1997. She's still the girl sitting in the studio, waiting for Biggie to turn around and see her. Still the woman who believed that if she just became bigger, louder, more untouchable, he'd finally choose her. Every decision she made, the image, the surgeries, the loyalty, the lies, was to hold on to him. But you can't hold on to a ghost. And the cruelest part, she became a legend for the world. But the one person she wanted to see her as legendary is gone. Lil Kim is still here, still performing, still posting, still fighting to be seen. But the industry she revolutionized has moved on without her. The throne she built has been occupied by others, and the empire she created has become her prison. She wanted to be remembered, and she will be, but not the way she imagined. Not as the queen who never fell, but as the woman who couldn't let go. This is the story of Lil Kim, the girl who had nothing, the woman who had everything, and the ghost who lost it all, chasing a love that was never really hers.